Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Today, it's really more about what other people are obsessing about, at least in my social media feed, and that is Marie Kondo, the organizing lady who, her big thing is you each thing that you're considering getting rid of from your life, you ask yourself if it sparks joy, and if it does not, then see ya.
Then you thank it for its service, and then you say
do thank it. Yes. So she has a show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, and it's just getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's just another round of the attention that she got when the book came out. And personally, I didn't read the book because I felt like I got it. Like I didn't know how much would be in the book that I couldn't grasp from reading summaries of it.
Yeah.
Although I do think the TV show does kind of give you, it lays out her, like a specific order that you could declutter in.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. And it sort of shows you how, the process, you get a more visual representation of how the process works by seeing people actually go through it. So I don't know. Terry, you've watched the show. Nicole, have you watched it?
No, I just started noticing this name. I don't know, I've been living under a rock or something. But
I feel the same way.
I had no idea who everybody was talking about.
Yes.
Now that I've seen, now that I know who it is, I understand what's going on. But yeah, it was not a big thing on my feed.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about the book. It just seems like lately I keep hearing references made to her. Seriously and just kind of as like silly sort of little, side references or something. And it just suddenly like exploded. This name was all over the place and I had no idea who it was. Now that I've watched her show, it wasn't at all what I expected. But I mean, the show, yeah, you do get some good tips from it. But it also has that house hunters thing of thinking, these people have problems way beyond clutter. It's like, it has that can this marriage be saved aspect to it that oftentimes when you're watching house hunters, you're thinking, hey guys, don't make a big investment. You might.
You're going to need that cash for the divorce.
Exactly. And I know it's just, I hope for their sakes, it's just the way it's edited, that whoever is editing the show has just been through a bad breakup and wants everybody to be unhappy. But I think the interesting thing about it, and, there's tons of decluttering. Every podcast I listen to is talking about decluttering one way or the other. But this idea that everything that you own should give you joy is do we believe that's true? I mean, it seems like such a first world solution to a first world problem. I mean, the fact that we have too much stuff and that you have to hire somebody to help you get rid of stuff is an incredibly privileged place to be. And then
it is, but I think
get rid of it that way to just, I like the idea of thanking something, of realizing that something that has been of value to the past maybe doesn't need to move into the future with you. That's a good way of thinking of it, I think, because I do hold on to things just because I have an affection for them, even though I'm never going to use them again. But I have a lot of stuff that does not fill me with joy when I, commune with it, but I still need it. Socks, underwear.
I think that's a little bit of an oversimplification of of her idea. And I mean, it's obviously not just you. I mean,
yes,
because that's the one huge takeaway from her.
That is what I heard about it. And also, since her show has subtitles and I multitask when I watch TV, I didn't necessarily get everything she was saying.
Well, to me, I think the way I look at it is not necessarily does my my sock or my washing machine or my treadmill spark joy, but having warm feet makes me happy. Like having clean clothes, having a place to exercise when it's 50 below, which it is right now.
Oh my gosh.
Those things are all relevant, and I think
that's a good way.
Like she's a lot to take on this show, especially because it's all this whole thing about first let me thank your house, and then let us thank all these objects before we give them away, and let's tap the books to wake them up before we sort them. Like that's just kind of weird,
kind of twee.
It is, but then again, something is connecting with people, right?
I guess so.
about what she's doing.
I guess. Where did she? I mean, it's just like, where did she come from? Has she been doing this going into people's houses for ages and just recently got famous, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the book was the first way that people heard of her.
Yeah.
But before that, did she do this as a business, or?
Yeah,
I don't know.
She was an organizing consultant.
Was she? Okay. Because she, like, in the TV show, she, like, comes by like a visiting dignitary, and people are practically, overjoyed to be in her presence. She sparks joy in the people whose houses she comes to declutter. So no folding her up and putting her on the curb. A couple of husbands, maybe, but not.
You have to fold her in a very specific way, though. Exactly. Just so you know, there's a certain way to fold things.
Man.
It says here on Wikipedia. Sorry to interrupt. One day she had a nervous breakdown and fainted. She was unconscious for 2 hours. When she came to, she heard a mysterious voice, like some god of tidying, telling me that I needed to look at my things more closely.
Dear.
And then I realized my mistake. I was only looking for things to throw out. What I needed to be doing was finding things to keep. And that's how she got started in her organizing consulting business when she was 19.
Well.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I believe in decluttering and the power that it has.
Yes.
And I think that's part of why, this resonates with a lot of people. And this particular method may not be the right one for everybody. Especially if you're turned off by this whole, sparking joy and thanking things and blah, blah, blah. But,
I think
the overall idea of decluttering is super powerful, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly accept that I have too many objects, and I would like to be able to go through and declutter, and the occasional times when I have, it is very empowering and it feels very good, but time consuming as heck. I'm thinking, I was listening to, we listened to the podcast, Young House Love, and they also had a decluttering expert on, and all the things he was saying were right on, and I really liked it, and yet in the back of my mind the whole time was, I would never have time to do that. There is no way I could possibly do that. I just can't even imagine being able to. Yeah. So it's a quandary. I don't know. And I'm definitely, I was going to say I'm definitely the pack rat in my house, but no, my son's room, maybe we need to have Marie over to work her magic on him and help him commune with his old objects, but his room is just filled with stuff, and it's covered with dust. It's stuff he hasn't done anything with in ages and ages, but he is just fixated on it, and I can't go in and take stuff out because with this particular disability, it could be very disruptive to him, and at the same time, if somebody came into his room, they would think, why are you making this boy live in a garbage dump? It's awful. It's just awful. But I don't know how to get him to even start clearing it out. I mention it and he says, oh, yeah, I'll do that. But he doesn't. And I am not a good role model for him in that because, my closet is stuffed full of things that I never wear. And there's stuff everywhere. So I don't know. It's a problem. Do your kids have clutter problems?
My daughter has a clothes on the floor problem.
And makeup.
Yeah, I mean, the makeup is fairly corralled, I would say. But, yeah, I mean, all the horizontal surfaces in her room are usually pretty loaded with stuff, I would say. So it's tough. But, you know, my husband just went through a period of really decluttering a bunch of stuff, and it was hard on him. It was very emotional.
Yeah.
And I started it by giving him a gift of taking a bunch of old photographs and sticking them in an album and wrapping them up and giving it to him for Christmas because, as we have discussed, he is super hard to buy for. And it was, like I said, it was hard on him. It prompted him, you know, to keep going and to do more. But I felt guilty because, you know, I tried to do something nice by making these albums, and it prompted this like month-long effort that was like,
oh no,
very challenging. But he's very glad that he's done, you know, and it is like from 3 years ago that this stuff had been waiting to be dealt with. Mm-hmm. So part of it is, you know, he just had to finally be ready, and then I just tipped it a little bit by making a start. So
yeah, that is definitely a thing. You know, when you're ready to start, it'll happen. That's occasionally that has happened for me, that I just at some point say, I'm just going to do this, and then I do it, and that's great. But then clutter comes back, and too many objects come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're speaking to somebody whose husband just took 2 weeks off of his Christmas vacation to declutter, and I helped him, and it was just this. Did I tell you this story already?
No,
well, you talked a little bit about how you sold some stuff.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, my dog is in the background. We actually rented one of those garbage bins that businesses have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, the big ones that roll away, the big green ones.
Yep.
We filled 2 of those within 2 days.
Wow.
We were just purging like crazy, and it wasn't even like those poor things didn't even get a second glance. I mean,
they did not get a thank you.
Say goodbye to them.
They were not folded correctly.
They were not. They were just basically looked at for 2 seconds and then tossed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway,
Marie Kondo's stuff is good in terms of dealing with that sort of guilt of getting rid of things. I do kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
But are you going to be following her way, Catherine? And
well, I mean,
her?
I know I need to.
Yeah,
just the clothes, like
yes.
Wow. Yes. If I could just only do clothes, I feel like that would make a huge. Oh, now my dogs are starting.
They're saying, no, don't get rid of your junk. We enjoy your junk.
The dogs themselves have enough clothes that could be eliminated. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of dogs.
Well, maybe they're cueing us that we need to stop talking here. Well, maybe we'll revisit this topic another time.
Yeah, let's do that. She's kind of over the conversation.
We'll clutter our feed with this topic another time.